Okay, it's Halloween Eve, and many of us are doing the last minute finishing on the costumes, making sure you have enough candy and all of the decor is in place. And for parents of kids with special needs, you may need to do some extra prepping to make sure that it is fun and safe to go trick-or-treating. So joining me now is Marcia Pinto, a speech pathologist for San Jose Unified School District, and you have some tips on how to make it fun and safe for parents of kids with special needs. So thank you for coming in this morning and joining me. I know that for my kids, when you're planning the costumes, they may not want to wear a mask or the costume may be a little itchy. So you need to plan in advance. So what advice do you have for us?
Yeah, good morning, Carrie. It's great to be here again. So Halloween is an exciting time. You get to wear costumes, candy, lots of different lights. But for some kids, the unpredictability and the sensory overload, it can be a lot. So one thing I recommend for parents to do is a lot of preparation. So what they can do is kind of go over the steps of trick-or-treating, practice trick-or-treating at home, maybe get that costume, wear it first, see how it feels.
Yeah.
So those are some first steps.
Yeah, and for my daughter, she's very sensitive to loud sounds, and you go to someone's house and they're playing music or the decor is like, it's like really loud, and that can be a lot. So we make sure she has on her headphones. So what is something that parents can do to prepare for that sensory overload as you talked about?
Yeah, so noise canceling headphones are a great idea. The other thing parents can do is kind of start the trick-or-treating a little early when there's less people around. And then there's always an expectation with trick-or-treating, like, we go out, we say, trick-or-treat, and we get our candy, but it doesn't always have to be that way. So something I'm encouraging parents to do is Halloween can be, accommodated. We have to be a little flexible. So we can even, move trick-or-treating inside, practice with our friends inside at home if it gets too much to be outside.
And for me, the big problem is eloping. And so we have to make sure that we are keeping a tight grip, that she doesn't take off running, or especially if something startles her. And so when you think about it, if the kids are out running around, that's also something that people in the neighborhood need to look out for. A safety issue with kids out running around. So what tips do you have for not only eloping, but also making sure that you're staying safe?
Yeah, so parents can have like a little picture of, where their house is, like what to do if you get lost, making sure, that they know to hold their hand, and also letting the neighborhood know of a child with autism, so you can, wear some kind of tag or like a blue bucket is another thing to let, people around the neighborhood know that, this is a child with autism and they may, need a little extra help.
Yeah, and I found some cards online that you print out and you can hand them to people, because sometimes you go up to the house and they're like, say trick or treat, and it's just like, well, she can't. So you just hand a little card to say, my child has autism, I may not say trick or treat, but I'm working on it. And that's some of the examples right there on the screen. So what can people do to be more inclusive when they do see a child who may be on the spectrum or, have special needs? What can they do to be more inclusive?
Yeah, so the key is flexibility. So, the child doesn't have to say trick or treat to get a candy. We want to be more accepting of gestures. So let's say if we see a smile on the kid's face, or they're looking at us, or maybe the parent is saying trick or treating for them, but they're there, they're opening their bag, or they're, giving you their bucket. I would count those nonverbal expressions as, like a trick or treat.
Yeah.
Also, some nonverbal kids use like pictures they may point to. It might be on their bucket and they'll be pointing to those pictures. So, we can use that as communication. Some kids with autism use like an iPad device and they click the pictures. So there are different ways to communicate, and, we want to be accepting of all these ways, because there's no one size fits all with trick-or-treating.
Yes, thank you, Marcia, so much for coming in this morning. We're helping to educate not only the parents, but the public to be more inclusive. And it really can be so much fun getting out there and going trick-or-treating and meeting your neighbors too. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right.